Another day, another talk. Of course, I'm in here on the shop. Got to get this big, massive 10-foot credenza done. Got a client that literally came to my home like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago, and saw that I built the original one for my wife, and came to our home, look at it, and decided that she wanted one herself. So that was kind of cool. So it's always nice when people come to your house and you can kind of sell them right then and there. But anyway, that's what I'm doing today. And I got another credenza over here. Turn around. Credenza along here. It's 5-door credenza. I also got to get that finished. So I got a lot of work to do. I got a super stressful month coming up. And I did a talk this morning on my computer about just the stresses of owning a business and just the sheer amount of stuff we have to deal with when trying to keep the business running, when trying to figure out how to grow the business, employees, just freaking everything. And it's wild. Trying to get this company to live beyond me is very difficult, and it's something that weighs on me more than other things, more than things like money. Because truth is that if I can't figure out how to grow this business and find a way to run this business when I'm not around, then the people that work for me, they're gonna have to go find other jobs. So I figure I probably got 10 to 15 good years left in me, and at that point, then it's like I got to figure this shit out because otherwise I'm in trouble. So that was the talk this morning. But talk for today is I can fix anything, therefore I can buy anything. And I just took a picture of the hoopties that I have sitting out in the parking lot right now, and truth is that both those cars super unreliable. like the Volkswagen Touareg, I think it's like 2004 to 2010 or something like that, is literally talked about as the most unreliable vehicle ever made. Like there's nobody that wants to own these things because they're just insanely problematic. They've always got electrical gremlins, air suspension, which is super expensive to work on. Anytime something happens on this thing, it's just all the parts are crazy expensive. Because when the car was sold back in the early 2000s, it was like a $70,000 SUV, which would probably be like $100,000 today. It was very expensive. But anyway, I went ahead and I bought one anyway because I started watching these videos on people off-roading these things and doing all kinds of fun things with them. And I was just like, that looks kind of cool. I would kind of like to do that. So I went and I just bought one. I didn't give a shit. Point is that if something breaks on it, like whatever, now I know how to fix it. And that's what's happened, right? So I bought this thing, and before I ever even drove the thing around, I put new tires on it. I did a whole new timing belt kit on this thing. I swapped out the radiator. I did, the entire, all the pulleys, all the water pumps, just a whole front end service on this car. I swapped out the valve cover gaskets on this thing, and I shit you not, guys. I've never had one single problem with this Touareg. I put almost 30,000 miles on it. It's getting ready to crack 200,000 miles. And again, I don't care because big deal, whatever. If the thing breaks, I know how to fix it. It's not a big deal. Swapping out air shocks, super easy. They're stupid expensive, but super easy. And if there's an engine problem, it's a 4.2 liter V8 with a crap ton of room inside. There's plenty of room to work. Not the most complicated thing in the world. The transmission's a whole other, I don't know how to do the transmission, but the point is that when you can fix things, right? When you're interested in learning how things work, when you're curious about taking things apart and putting them back together, it makes a lot of other things accessible. And that's been a pattern in my life. And so I'm going to talk about that just a little bit today. And I've always been, like I said, a super undereducated person. I never graduated high school, and I was able to move around America, take aerospace jobs, build furniture for jets, and I've always had really nice homes and really nice cars, not because I had the money to buy nice new cars, but because I had the skills and the knowledge to fix older cars, right, and to fix older houses. And having that knowledge to fix things just means that I was able to do all kinds of fun stuff. I was able to take advantage of opportunities that other people wouldn't have been able to take advantage of. And it worked out pretty good for me. It served me well. And I think it would serve you well as well, being able to do that kind of stuff. So that's what we're talking about today. But anyway, my name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Splendid Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small furniture company. We do about 500 pieces a year. And it's a great middle-class living. Probably not going to get rich doing it. But I work for the company. My wife works for the company. And 8 other people work for this company. And we deliver furniture all over the country. We have a pretty affluent client list that we've built up over about 10 years, and it's turned into a great company. It's turned into something that is not, like I said, probably not going to get you rich, but it feels really good to make furniture. I get to see our furniture get built. I get to teach people how to make things, assemble things, deliver things, paint, all these kind of things that it's a really rewarding way to make money. So So yeah, so that's my business. That's what I do, and we're going to talk about fixing things, right? Being interested in fixing things, and being interested in tearing things apart and figuring out how they work. It's a great way to go through life, I think. And some people like to shit on it as though you're poor, you can't afford this, blah blah. And I don't see it that way at all. I see it as it's just really important to be able to take your own stuff apart and fix it, because then you know how it works. Then you're always going to know how to work on it, and you can carry those skills through your life for forever. Like they never go bad. So anyway, let's go to the comments real quick. We'll say hi to people, and we'll start our conversation here on Sunday. So I hope everyone's out having a good time and had a good weekend. And it's freaking gorgeous here. Like we got the most beautiful weather here in St. Louis. Very out of character. So anyway, okay, Amari Kempson here. Amari, good to see you. Glad you're here, and thanks for getting the conversation, guys. If you're here, hit the like button, add to the discussion. And like I said, we got a lot of good go back and forth to go through today. Okay, Marcus Johnson's here. Marcus, good to see you. Glad you're here. See Nora's in here. Nora, good to see you as well. So this is an AI agent. Great. You better buy a Danker bike. I don't do bikes, guys. Like I've never been a bike guy. Not that I got anything against them. It's just never been my thing. I've always liked cars. I've always liked rear mid-engine cars, things like that. I've always liked exotic automobiles. It's just my thing. I've always really enjoyed vehicles. My dad's a former race car builder, so he was always working on. He's always building. Like right now, he's building like a '44 Ford, I think, is what he's building. It's great. He's just always building something. It's pretty cool. All right, so Luther Marshall. Luther, good to see you again. Appreciate you being here, bud. See, it's a good extension of the process. Let's see. AS says, do you have apprenticeship programs too? So, all right. So what? So Luther's saying. Let's see here. Luther's saying it's a good extension of the process. Exactly what he's saying by that, Luther. I think I know what you're saying, but please elaborate on that just so I comment appropriately on it. And again, guys, hit the like button, kick this thing around. We'll get lots of people in this conversation. We'll talk about cars and houses and fixing things and getting dirty and busting knuckles and getting these goddamn kids to, learn how to do some shit. Okay, AI agent says, do you have apprenticeships programs too? So no, I don't, but I did a talk this morning specifically about that issue, about passing down what it is that we do or what I do as a fine furniture maker down to the younger people. I got a son, could give a shit about any of this stuff, but I really want the younger generation to be able to learn this kind of stuff, and I would absolutely take on an apprentice here. I'd take on multiple apprentices here and teach them. There's opportunities to learn how to spray paint. There's an opportunity to learn how to build furniture and cabinets. There's all kinds of interesting opportunities at this company where we make everything in America. It's all made in American furniture. It's way more expensive than I can buy, but my clients buy it, and they keep us all working, right? We get to keep working on the trades and the skills that we've acquired over the years, and we get to keep doing this stuff. And these wealthy people allow me to do that, allow me to teach people, and it's awesome. I'm super appreciative of it. But yeah, I need to get some of these younger people in here. I want someone straight out of high school is really what I would like. That way I can teach them. I've tried to get a couple people in here that are younger, and they just never last. They just don't have the patience, and it's too bad. Okay, what else we got here? Lou says, what kind of beer is on tap? So we got Blue Moon. I'm a big Blue Moon drinker. I've always liked Blue Moon. Both my dads, my stepdad and my dad, were basically alcoholics growing up, and not so much my dad. He was always loved fucking Hamm's beer, like just couldn't get enough of Hamm's beer. But always drank a lot. I'm a middle of the day drinker. Like I really enjoy having a beer, like maybe around, somewhere between noon and 5. That's when I do my drinking. Like I don't drink late at night. I don't drink early in the morning. I'm kind of the middle of the day guy. Like I don't like hangovers. I don't like the way I feel at night if I've got some kind of a crazy beer buzz. But I like to have a beer or two most days, and that's really about it. Like I've never been a big drinker. I don't drink to get drunk necessarily. I like drinking a beer when I make things. It's just kind of how I've been. I like drinking beers. So I go to the casino, I'll drink a bunch of beers. But that's really about it, But it's usually Blue. I'm a Blue Moon guy. Luther, what do you drink, man? What's your beverage of choice? I'm kind of curious. So again, guys, hit the like button, add discussion. Okay, Luther says there are millions of people in that boat. What's wrong with helping them improve their situation? Have comforts like furniture. Yeah, no, that's 100% right. And Luther, if I'm going down the right path here, trying to help people is one thing, right? But you got to have people that want to help themselves. And this is the thing that I've always struggled with when I try and teach people what it is that I do with fine furniture making. Is it's just they don't have the patience. They don't really want to learn the skill of making furniture. This is just my experience, but they don't really want to learn the skill of making furniture. What they want to do is they just want to make money. And again, when things are expensive, I get it. Like people just want to be able to make money, be able to, whatever, pay for cars and houses and kids and all that kind of stuff. But you have to take the time to learn. Like, I think it's funny. I'm always talking about the whole college thing. It cracks me up that people will spend $15,000 to $30,000 a year going to school to learn something from somebody who doesn't actually do the thing that they're teaching, right? Because if they did, they wouldn't be a fucking teacher. The other thing is that the skills that they have are antiquated, right? And again, they're a teacher. They're no longer a practitioner of whatever it is they're teaching. And I know that sometimes you have professors that kind of do both. They kind of dabble in both spaces. But it's a very different kind of a situation. You're going to kind of give a controlled environment for learning. Whereas here, you can come here, I'll pay you whatever, $15,000 to $30,000 a year. Instead of you paying me, I'm going to pay you, and you can learn those skills, right? If you end up being a great employee, you end up doing a good job learning the skills, you then become a tentpole employee, right? You become an employee that my company counts on, that has valuable skills and is an integral part of making the day-to-day things happen, So the college thing just blows me away. But when you try and help people, like I've tried to help a lot of underserved people. Like we're at a pretty lower class area where our company is, and we've always tried to hire from the community as much as we can. But the truth is that a lot of these people, they're unemployable, and it always, annoys people when I say this, but it's true. Like I've tried to help people, and I want to help people. It's what I want to do, but it's just very hard, Luther. And again, I'm not exactly sure if that's what you're talking about, but it hurts my soul in a way that there's so many people that are unemployable today. So anyway, all right, Zoe's in here. Zoe, good to see you. Martha says, what I'm saying is I agree with you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate it, Luther. Zoe says more hi. Where are you at? Zoe, we are in St. Louis, Missouri. We're just behind a place called the Del Mar Loop, and we have we have 20,000 square feet, but we use probably 12,000 square feet of it. We're in a big kind of an industrial area with a massive window company. So we all kind of work together and help each other out. It's a pretty cool place to be. All right, let's see, AI just says, where do you source materials from mostly? So most of my materials comes from a company here in as far as like my hardwoods, comes from a company here in St. Louis called St. Charles Hardwoods, which I mean technically they're in St. Charles, which is outside of St. Louis, but they're a hardwood distributor. Most of their hardwoods come from Indiana, and so I use a lot of cherry, I use a lot of poplar, a lot of walnut. Right now I'm using a bunch of mahogany. So we use a lot of different kinds of woods, but most of the stuff from where I get my material from comes from the state of Indiana. Where the mahoganies come from, the other ones are probably Africa, but that's where I get that stuff. Other places here in town, we got a place called Compy Distributors, which is a big conglomerate company. They're owned by a company called Richie Loom, and they just have like whatever the cabinet industry or the furniture industry needs, slides, hinges, plywood, some hardwoods, some paints, things like that. I get most of my stuff from them. They're going to supply all the plywoods. They're going to supply all my hinges and slides and screws and stuff like that. And that's where we get most of that stuff. And all this stuff's made in America as well. A lot of the plywoods come from a company called Columbia Forest Products, which is out in Oregon, and also Roseburg Forestry Products, which is also out in Roseburg, Oregon. So we get a lot of our products from America. They're pretty much all American. I got some like hinges, magnet catches. They come in from China and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's an American-made product, an American-made company. Americans doing the work. We don't outsource anything. I do get some of my legs turned in Pennsylvania, but we do make hardware. Which is made in India. I talk about that a lot. It's we manufacture and design our hardware, and we work with a couple of different manufacturing outfits in India, and we get all that stuff made there. So there is that. I also do importing as well. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Who is this? Rebecanta? Interesting name. Okay. Good to see you here. Glad you're in here. Yeah, something Jesus. That's great. Add to the conversation with the like button. An AI agent says, do you take only whole projects or even custom individual? So we do a lot of different things. So AI agent, we have several revenue streams, and yes, we do a lot of custom work. We do one of the things I do with the stream and what kind of I think separates what I do apart from a lot of other woodworkers is that I make my money making furniture. Like this is actually the bulk of my business, right? So I would say probably 75% of my revenue every year comes from making furniture. And that's what our people here do. They all make furniture, whether it's sanding, assembling, fabricating, painting, delivering. It's all related around furniture. And so this is an actual furniture company. We're not just on YouTube talking about making furniture while we make all of our money on content, right? We're not like that. We're not making our money on sponsorships, none of that. So we make money. We have 4 or 5 different product lines. We sell all kinds of furniture through those product lines, and that's going to be your stuff that we already have the engineering for. We have all the jigs. I might even have some CNC programs. So we make a lot of our money that way. We also sell vintage furniture, which is how we started our business. So if you go on the resplendentcrow.com, you'll see all the furniture we have. You can buy it, we paint it, we fix it all, we put hardware on it, we ship it right to your house for you, and it's a good service. We also do a lot of custom furniture. This year, when people say the economy is shit, like I gotta disagree. Like I've never been so busy. I mean, I'm almost COVID busy with new built furniture. It's really insane how much business there is right now on the furniture side. So we do a lot of custom work. We sell a lot of hardware. We do a little bit of consulting, and that's kind of how this business runs. That's how we make our money. But there's no sponsorships. There's no content creator deals. There's no branding deals. We're not getting paid for clicks. It's a real business, and super, super difficult, but well worth it, you know? So that's kind of how we do things. All right, next question. Refurbishments work too. Yeah, we do. We don't do like the kind of refurbishments that you're talking about. So here, I'll show you. Actually, I just had a piece in. We just brought some stuff in here that we considered refurbishing. We're not really known for refurbishing furniture so that it can be resold. We don't generally do it. We generally paint most of what we buy. So here, let me flip my camera around here, AI agent. So we just got these in. This is a set of Kindle dresser and a Kindle Tallboy. And anyway, we considered just selling this as is, maybe doing a little bit of refurbishment to it. But Kindle is a highly sought after, extremely well built furniture. They have beautiful designs. They're timeless, right? Like this piece will look good. This piece is probably 60 years old, and it'll look good at 160 years. It'll still look amazing, you know. So they do beautiful brass hardware. All of their drawer construction, you got nice oak drawers. And they do frame and panel construction on the inside, just like any other high-end furniture maker would do. But you can see that where you have all the dings and stuff like this, like we're not going to fix this up. Like normally we'd consider it, but you got pretty good ding in here. And while we can do a little bit to this, you're not going to sand that out and make it look great. It'll just take too much time. But beautiful set nonetheless. It'll still sell right away. But this piece has old school timbre doors in it. And again, Kindle just makes the best stuff. They really do beautiful work. So yeah, but every now and again we'll get a piece in that's of such good quality. It's so beautiful that we will sell it as is. But what you run into is when you try and sell something as is, you get You get a customer base that thinks that it's Facebook Marketplace, and so they kind of want deals, right? So like that set that I just showed you, like I picked up that whole set for $500. Now, if someone were to if I was trying to sell that, somebody would try and probably pay me like $500 a piece for those, and that's fine, but that's not what I'm going to sell it for. What I'm going to sell it for is about $2,500 a piece. You know, and if it's painted, right, then I can sell it for probably $4,800 a piece. And that's one of the reasons that we always paint our furniture as opposed to selling it as is. Now, if I can sell it for $2,500 and I don't have to paint or do anything to it, like that's cool. But we don't always have that customer. I mean, sometimes we do, but we'll list it as is. And if someone wants to buy it, then yeah, we'll do it. But we just don't do a ton of refurbishments because we're just not great at it. And honestly, there's not a lot of money at AI Agent. It's just people don't want to pay for furniture, used furniture, what it took to build it, right? Or the amount of work you have to put into it. They just don't want to pay. It's just like, I used to modify a lot of furniture. I mean, you know how many freaking dressers I've turned into vanities. I've taken china cabinets, taken out all the glass doors, put in solid panel doors. I mean, I've taken drawers out, put doors out, put in drawers, and just done so much furniture modification over the years. It's just very difficult to find the customers that are willing to pay you what it takes to get that work done. And it's just a sign of the times, you know, and you got to make money, man. It's like if I'm going to be here on a Sunday working on a cabinet, like you got to pay me a bunch of money. And the cabinet I have behind me is sold for $12,000, you know, so it's very expensive, very large, and it's a moneymaker, and it makes sense. The Kindle thing just doesn't, so. Okay, see, do you have, I've read your comment there. This looks good. Do you provide warranty too? Yeah, so the way our situation works is anything that we do, we always have a warranty, but it's not like, we don't have it necessarily like written in stone or on our, we have something on our website, I believe, that basically says something to the effect of like, we warranty our work for about a year. And truth is that lacquer finishes last a long time. If the paint fails, I mean, hell, if it fails, if the paint starts chipping off the cabinet, I mean, your piece of furniture could be 2 or 3 years old. I'm probably still going to take it back and refinish it because I want to keep you as a customer. Even if I'm going to end up losing money on that deal in the long run, I want to keep you around as a customer because I'm hoping to turn you into what I call super customers. And these are customers that have basically 6 or more of my pieces. And I can't even tell you how many customers I have that many of my pieces. And that's how you stay in business. I mean, that's how you keep a business going, is by taking care of your clients all the time. So yeah, we do have a warranty, but what we offer more than anything is just service in general. It's like if you buy a Gulfstream jet. Gulfstream has a saying, it's called the standard. And truth is that anytime you got a problem with a Gulfstream, like, they're going to fix it. Whether they are flying from Savannah, Georgia, where they're located, up to Atlanta to work on something, or they're flying all the way out to California, which they wouldn't. They have a base out there. They would just send something from California. The point is that they're going to get your product fixed because you are the best ambassador for the brand. It's like, I want people, when they see my furniture, to be like, holy shit, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And then if something goes wrong, I want them to say, yeah, something went wrong, but man, they fixed it, they took care of it, they made it as good as new, and they really took care of me in a timely manner, because that's what makes a customer last forever. They think it's just the product, right? You just buy this one thing and that's it. Like, no, there's layers to this thing. And I was telling you guys the other day, I have to go down to Corpus Christi. I had a client that bought 2 of my marquee faux bamboo china cabinets for her dining room, 17 grand. And the faux bamboo fretwork on both cabinets failed, So she calls me up. It's very nice and understanding. And it's like, okay, I booked a flight right then and there, 2 weeks later, so I get a decent rate. And 2 weeks later, now I'm going down to Corpus Christi. I'm going to fix that situation and make sure that my customer is happy. Of course, there kicks on my air compressor. Let's move over here real quick. But yeah, I'm going to make sure my customer is happy because I need these people to stick around and continue to buy furniture from me, because there's only, just like in the private jet industry, right, there's only so many people that can drop $50 million on a jet. There's only so many people that are willing to drop $3,500 on a vintage piece of furniture, but there's even fewer people that are willing to drop $12,000 on a hand-built credenza. So you got to take care of these people no matter what you do. Otherwise, you'll run out of those customers. Because, yeah, there's just not a lot of them. And most people think that's a ridiculous amount of money to pay for anything. So when you can curate a collection of people that are willing to pay that money, man, you got to hang on to them like gold. So it's just super important that these people are the service is more important than the product. I talk about this again from my jet days. Like, it doesn't really matter what your product is. I mean, yeah, your product is what initially draws people in, but it's your service that keeps them there. It's your attention to their needs that will keep them coming back time and time again. It's when they get the same delivery driver every time, like, they like that kind of stuff. When they deal with the same people, when they try and buy again, they like this kind of stuff. They don't want to buy from you if you got different people showing up all the time, because that shows that your company maybe it is not quite, it has a little bit of a veneer on it. It could be a little bit rotten on the inside. They want people that they know and trust. And that's one of the things we try to do. So AI agent, I know it's a long answer, dude. But yeah, we do have a warranty, but warranty has never been a thing for us. Like I said, our product is fine. I've literally had paint fall off of cabinets, and it happens. I've had paint that cracks. It happens probably 6 or 7 times a year, to be quite honest with you. And we go pick the piece up, we bring it back here, we fix it all back up, and then we send it back. And again, customers are super thrilled. They stay with us for a long time. So, all right, yeah, it just says now, understandable. So do you have ties with builders, interior designers, farms? So yeah, we so most of our clientele is going to be the interior design community. We have contacts all over America. I mean, because we're an internet-based company and we deliver throughout the United States, we deal with everybody. I mean, at one point or another. I mean, as far as like GCs and things like that, we don't deal with them. They're not willing to spend the kind of money that we need to spend. It's going to be your interior designers, and a lot of your residential people actually reach out to us because my wife has such a large presence on Instagram and Facebook and those kind of social media platforms. They just love her. Like, she's constantly making content at home at our house, which the bulk of this conversation is about how you can have a lot of really nice shit if you know how to fix things. I'm going to get to that. But what I'm saying is my wife spends a lot of time working on our home. I do all the work, but she designs everything and puts up all the pretty wallpapers and the, brass plates, and does the flowers and the pretty fabrics on all the shit that women love. She spends a lot of time doing that because she really likes it. But then she also gets to stay at home all the time and, hang out and, watch her birds and look at the river and just kind of do whatever she wants to do. And that's good. It's a good thing. But it helps us to sell our furniture, right? These chicks love seeing this stuff. Housewives love to watch other women work on their houses. I don't know what it is, but it lures them in. And then they're like, well, hey, where'd you get that credenza? It's like, well, my husband made it. We own this business. And then you're selling credenzas. Oh, where'd you get that drink table? We make that drink table. We sell them all over. And these things just snowball into people buying stuff. And that's one of the reasons I was telling people about advertising. When these guys tell you that all you got to do is Google and do Facebook and meta ads, like, that's a part of it, but there's a lot more to it. I mean, advertising has changed a lot, basically because of what's called the like, know, and trust factor. Like, people want to know who the fuck they're buying from. They want to know that the person they're buying from is a real person. They want to know you've been in business for a while. They want to know that if you're making videos, they're going to see you every day, every other day, 2 times a week, whatever that might be. They want to know who you are, and it's more important now than ever. And that's why when people talk, like, I shouldn't say people, I talk about the furniture industry quite a bit. You got a lot of these companies, they're losing market share and they're losing enthusiasm because all their shit's made overseas, right? They're basically faceless companies like Restoration Hardware and Pottery Barn. Like, these places are real popular and people like them, and their furniture's beautiful, and the quality's great, but nobody wants to talk about how amazing their Vietnamese craftsman is when they live in a penthouse in New York. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So we are very open about how we make things, where we make things, the people that make the stuff that they make, where they're from, what they do. And that's kind of the new way to market businesses, guys. And like I said, I know we're kind of going all over the place on this particular topic, but the business of being in business today is just very different than it was prior to COVID, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's just really important that people know who you are. So, all right, so the air compressor's off. We can kind of continue our convo here. Okay, all right, let's see here. So you have builders, interior designers. Okay, is there anything like off-season in furniture? Yeah, and AI agent, one more thing on your comment about builders and things like that. So we don't hook up with builders so much, but we will hook up with like architectural firms and people that, like, I just had a guy in here, I don't know, I think it was 2 days ago. He's one of the people that, like, you've ever been into Saks Fifth Avenue or like a Von Maur or maybe a Dillard's might even be a good example. These are fixtures people, right? So they're going to design like where all the shoes go in the shoe department, right? And they're going to design where all the the lipsticks go, all the beautiful racks and bookcases and all these kind of things. They design all that kind of stuff. So we talk to those people a little bit. We also talk to hotels. So there's, I've done a couple of like boutique hotels. These are gonna be your small, these aren't gonna be like your Hiltons. These are gonna be your smaller kind of local mom and pop boutique hotels, which are a thing. So we deal with that a little bit. But mostly interior designers. So anyway, okay. So is there anything like off-season in furniture? Yeah. There's definitely off-season. And here's how you got to think about it. So, in my experience, men aren't the people that make the decisions to buy anything. Men aren't the people that buy furniture. Men, like dudes like us, like we could live in a fucking 1-bedroom apartment with box furniture and a beanbag chair. Give us a nice flat screen TV, maybe a little bit of sound system. But we just don't need much. We'll take the old shag carpet and windows that are cracked out. Like, we just don't really care. We're very simple people. But the women, they love nice things, which is why we do all this shit, right? Like, we're just constantly trying to please these people because that's just kind of how we're wired, So the women are the people that control the spending. The women are the ones that buy all the nice, pretty shit. The women are the ones that design rooms and make things feel really special and comfortable and inviting, things like that. So to answer your question about off season, anytime a woman is distracted is our off season, right? So when are women distracted? When kids are around, right? They're distracted when kids are around. So our off seasons are tailored to deal with that, okay? So spring break, off season. Summer vacation, off season. Holidays, off season, right? This is when the women are preoccupied. Now, specifically talking about the holidays, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas, leading up to Christmas and Thanksgiving is the busiest time of the year, right? So that's going to be August, right? Because the kids are starting to go back to school. Leading up to basically October, it's run and gun, like get it done. Suck up all the business you can and get that shit out. It's the busiest time of the year because the holidays are the most important time of year to women, right? They like to have the family around. They like to decorate. They like to cook the food. They want everything to be perfect. So that's kind of how our off seasons work. Like when you're doing spring break, you know, the wealthy housewives and moms and all that, they want to take their kids on vacation, spring break vacation. So they'll be gone for a week, maybe two, and you'll have a lull of basically about a month where there's nobody looking at designing things. There's nobody looking at putting new furniture in their homes, in their offices, all this kind of stuff. So we have a slow season there. And then, like I said, summer break is dead. Summer break for me is actually the slowest time of the year. So we dread basically the middle of June to the middle of August is like dead. That's where I'm making money all year long and I'm holding it away like a freaking squirrel for June and August, right? Because I know that it's gonna get slow, right? I'm hoping I got enough work to keep all my crew busy. Because if I don't, that means I got to dip into my reserves and I got to start paying people, right? People got to get paid, even if there's nothing to do. Like I'm not one of these people that says, well, I got no work, guys, so just go home. Because what happens is you start losing employees. And when you have employees that have been with me as long as they have and are as skilled and basically keep things running so that I don't have to worry about it, when you lose those people, you're in deep shit. You know, so we squirrel or rat hole all that money away for the slow times. You know, unfortunately this year it wasn't bad at all. But yeah, that's kind of how it works, man. Like, again, long answer to a simple question, but it can be tricky, you know. So it's basically when the kids are out of school, things are slow. That's just kind of all there is to it because women, they just got other things to do. They got other things to think about, and they're not focused on working on rooms and things like that, you know. So anyway, okay. Agent says now, do you take inspiration from online stuff like Pinterest for your catalog? So yeah, I'm trying to think the best way to answer this. This is more of a question for my wife. So I would start by saying that we advertise on Pinterest, right? So people take a lot of inspiration from Pinterest. They want to board things together, right? And they want to create looks, and which is the cool thing about Pinterest. As far as our designs go and the way that we come up with furniture, like again, me and my wife are very different. To answer your question, the answer is no, but with a little bit of a caveat. So the way that I design furniture is I literally have a folder. Anytime I see a picture that I like, any picture related to furniture, I just right-click, save as, and it goes into what I call my inspiration folder. And at this point, it's probably got 1,000 pictures in it. And whenever I need to come up with new designs, or I'm starting to think that I've seen a piece of furniture before and I want to make something, I start going through that folder on my computer. You know, I just start mouse wheeling and just start looking through all those pictures, and I started to come up with ideas, and I kind of put ideas together. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she loves Pinterest, and she loves Instagram, and she loves TikTok. I mean, she loves social media, all those sites. I mean, she's just glued to her phone looking at that stuff, and she's constantly looking at designing things. And what I've noticed with my wife is my wife tends to get inspired, as you put it, by things that she's seen lately. You know, she'll take like new concepts that are in vogue. Like if you ever look at a Restoration Hardware catalog, they come out with like 2 or 3 catalogs a year, and they've always got kind of like the latest and greatest design. So she'll see something there that she likes, and then she'll couple that with an old design that we've worked on or an old piece of furniture that she's really liked, and that's how we'll kind of come up with the ideas for our furniture. It just kind of depends on what we're into, you know, at the moment. But it's definitely a process. It's not the easiest thing in the world to come up with good furniture designs, but we look at a lot of timeless furniture. Like I said, I just showed you the Kindle stuff. I'm a big fan of Kindle. I've taken a lot of a lot of inspiration from Kindle Furniture. I've been issued cease and desist orders from the company Kindle because I made furniture that they sell, right? Or that they have trademarks on, copyrights and things like that. I really like the company Kindle. But you got to be kind of, careful how you do that kind of stuff. So I hope that answers your question there. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Do you worry about new crews messing things up? Well, the issue there is I don't worry about people messing stuff up so much. Like that's not, no, the answer is no. I don't worry about that because I've got great people here that won't let that happen too much. Like, yeah, it can happen, and it does happen. But we have enough people here that have been here like 5 years or more that they know exactly how things are supposed to work. They keep a really close eye on people, and Jen are really good at training people. So yeah, I don't worry about that. I do worry about the furniture thing because getting somebody to learn how to make furniture is nearly impossible. And the people that claim to know how don't. The people that the furniture maker of today is really just an assembler. They're not going to make furniture from scratch. They're not going to cut out complex parts. Do tons of point-to-point math, and people today just don't have it, right? They don't have the attention span. It's a very different world today. So that is something I am very nervous about. I did a talk this morning about how nervous I am and to pass my company on to somebody else, right? To get somebody, like most, it would always be kids, right? Like me and my wife, we both got kids. None of them want anything to do with our business. They could fucking care less. Like it's dirty. It's, it's archaic furniture. It's noisy. We got, all different kinds of goofballs working here. It's just not a place these people want to be, but it's what real work is, right? It's what America is. And we pay the bills, right? We have the beautiful homes and the cars and the businesses and we basically have it all. And these kids are happy not doing anything, right? No jobs. One of them's I think one of them has a master's degree, no job. One of them's working on a computer science degree, no job. Like my son, apparently he wants to get into welding, so that's something, but no interest in coming up here and learning about furniture, learning how dad makes all this stuff happen. Everyone's just happy with being mediocre. And again, I'm not trying to put shade on that, but to learn what it is that making furniture is, it's just kind of a dying art. It's not that it's anything special per se. It's just a dying thing that people just can't wrap their heads around. Like they can't figure out that making like this 12-foot or 10-foot credenza that I have right here, like it's nothing like super special, to be quite honest with you. But when you get it done and you see it delivered to a customer's house, like there's nothing better. When we would finish jets, right? We deliver $75 million jets, watching the customer walk in and pick up their jet in Savannah, Georgia, like it's the same thing as a person that picks up their first $25,000 car. Like the look and the feeling is the same for the people that are buying the stuff. But when you're the maker of it and you put so much time and effort in it and you get to deliver that thing, like it's much more rewarding than money, anyway. So yes, I do worry a little bit about teaching people and getting people to do what it is that we do. I don't think we want to do this work anymore, and that's too bad. And I did a talk the other day about how the immigrant population is going to come in and they're going to take all these jobs, right? I'm going to teach immigrants how to build furniture. I'm going to teach immigrants how to sand furniture, how to deliver. I'm going to teach immigrants how to do everything, and it's fucking pisses me off. It fucking pisses me off. But again, most people don't want to learn this work, and I don't know what to do about it. Like I've offered everything I can to people, and at this point, it's just like I would almost throw in the towel and go back to work for Gulfstream, go back to aerospace, make my $100,000 a year with the best benefits, super lightweight everything. Everyone cleans everything. All the machines are kept up by somebody else. It's pretty nice, Putting that Gulfstream uniform on in the city of Savannah, it's like credit anywhere you go. Like people see that and they're like, oh God, he's good for it. Kind of nice, hanging out on Tybee Island at the beach. Not bad. It's sorry, a little bit of a bitch session there. So anyway, AI agent, I hope that kind of answers your question. So yeah, I'm not worried about people screwing stuff up. I'm worried about finding people to do the work. I'm worried about finding people that are passionate as I am about making furniture, about painting furniture, you know, about delivering furniture. Like I got a fucking shipper right now. This guy's been doing this for 30 years. He's from Croatia. He immigrated here by way of Germany. Spent 2 years in Germany waiting to get over to America. Got here to America, and he's been delivering furniture ever since he got here. You know, not furniture, but been doing deliveries ever since he got here. He's worked for me for 9 years at this point. Best delivery person you could ever imagine. He handles everything for me. Between him and my wife, they schedule all the shipping. They make all the shipping happen, and I've got a massive customer base that just loves Almere. Like they just love the shipping experience. And they love receiving the furniture. They love when he comes and picks it up. It's always a good experience. And I don't know how I teach somebody else to do that. Like it just, people don't want, they don't, yeah, I just feel like people don't care if someone's happy with their work, right? People don't care if all they care about is getting a tip, right? All they care about is, well, what are you going to do for me? And it's just a different time, you know, agent, just very different time. So, okay, IBF's in here. Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. I hope I answered your questions in I don't know, a couple talks ago, but happy to do it again if you need more questions answered. So IBF says, how do you deal with being late for due dates? So the truth is I'm not late very much, right? So in the event that I am late, generally speaking, it's my date that I'm late on. It's not my customer's date. It's very rare that we run into a situation where we can't hit a date, right? So a good example, IBF, is I delivered. This hurts. It hurts me to even tell you guys this. I mean, heaven forbid Eric make a mistake. I built an 8-foot leggy walnut sideboard for a client. It was going to her house in Martha's Vineyard, and I was pushing the cabinet on the cart back to our picture room, which is like, I don't know, it's 500 feet in a completely different direction than where I had it in our assembly area. My wife insisted on having pictures of it, and I just wanted the fucking thing to deliver. Like my shippers were already here wrapping stuff up. Like I push it back there, and I shit you not, guys. Like I got 50 feet from the picture room, and the cabinet slipped off the cart and broke the legs, broke the entire. I damaged the top. I ended up having to fix the top. I had to have the cabinet refinished, and point is I fucked up a $10,000 sideboard right when it was supposed to be shipped out, okay? So at that point, you have to call the client. Now, this is, again, I'm not late on things very often, but when I make mistakes, I have to call clients and say, hey, guys, like, I fucked up. You know, it's basically what I have to say. And that conversation is really uncomfortable because it's not that I delivered something late, the product isn't good. It's that I was just careless, and because of my carelessness, you got to suffer for it. So now, instead of getting her cabinet on time, she had to wait basically an extra month to 45 days before we were going back up to Martha's Vineyard to deliver furniture again. Because it's not like we just fix it right then and there and then we hot shot it up to Martha's Vineyard. You can't get people to go there. Like, it's one of the things I'm talking about with shipping and providing good customer service is most people don't understand you can't fucking deliver things, just anything, to Martha's Vineyard. You know, it's like getting like Mackinac Island. Like there's these places you just can't go anytime you want. It's very difficult to get stuff to go there. So that's a horrible conversation I have to have. But we fixed the problem, and the piece is supposed to go out next week. So I don't know if the customer's gonna be happy or not. And that's it, because again, it's a mistake on my part. I fixed it as quickly as I could. I got it delivered as quickly as I could. And in that situation, like, I don't know if that person's going to be super happy with whatever I deliver because they're already pissed off the fact that I made such a careless mistake and set them back 45 days. And honestly, I don't know if that customer, this was a personal piece for a customer. They're just waiting to have it for the holidays. I don't know if this was an interior designer who's trying to get a house done and she needs this piece for photographs. Like, I have no idea. You know, so I don't know what's gonna happen in that situation, but that kind of stuff happens. But late, things being late, generally it almost never happens. It almost never happens, and that's the one situation that I can think of in a long time where a piece is going to be wildly late and there's nothing I can do about it. You know, the only other thing I could have done is fix that piece up right away. I probably could have turned it around and hot shotted it up to Martha's Vineyard. Using an LTL type carrier, and they probably would have charged me like $4,800, maybe $5,000 to send the thing up there, and I just can't do it. Like, there's not enough margin built into that cabinet to be able to do that, and and the customer's gonna be pissed off anyway. Customer's gonna be pissed off a week late or a month late. It doesn't matter. It's the same amount of pissed off. So again, I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, being late on things, not really a big deal. It just doesn't happen all that much because our due dates are much sooner than the client's due dates, generally speaking. So probably not the best answer in the world, but it is what it is. So, okay. An AI agent says, my grandfather was a carpenter. Me and my dad was literally zero idea on furniture. It's low-key sad. Well, it's just different. I mean, people are into different things now, you know, and as I'm getting older, what I'm realizing is that things are the same. Like you have to be able to fix things, you know, you have to be interested in fixing things, you know. We went through an epidemic of men, you know, not wanting to date, you know, men acting like bitches, an epidemic of men being intimidated by women. I mean, you just name it. Like, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that all these guys went to college, you know, and they just basically learned how to be a bitch. And that's not a, you know, it's not the technical term, but that's kind of how I see it, you know, like guys are supposed to work in their garages fixing shit, right? You're supposed to, you know, fix the drywall that's fucked up in the house, you know, replace the baseboards, you know, fix the range, or the pot feeler's not working, or the sink's leaking. Like guys are supposed to do all this shit, and you can't do that if you live in an apartment. You know, it just doesn't work that way, you know? So all these things that make men slowly get whittled down, and you're left with what you're left with, which is not good, you know? So that's, again, the topic for today, if we ever get to it, is fixing things, right? You can fix things, man, you can buy anything. And I'm a perfect example of that. Like, I don't pay full price for nothing because I can fix anything. I can make most things. And especially during today when everything's so expensive, it's really important that people are able to learn these skills and are interested in these skills because it'll make your life a lot easier. You know, and people might not realize that. They might think you're a kind of a loser because you don't have a nice new car, or you're broke because you don't have a brand new home. But the truth is that you just know how to fix shit. You don't need to waste your money on somebody else's labor. You can do it yourself, you know, and most people have more time than they realize. So it's not like it's a time issue for most people. It's just being interested in learning, having a place to do stuff. That's kind of the issue, you know. So, but yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, your dad didn't know anything about that. And it's very common though. You know, my stepdad is the same way, you know, doesn't really know much about furniture. Super well off, has always done really well, retired early. I mean, great dude, you know, but he's just not his area of expertise. But yeah, I don't know. Things are different, you know. It's just a different group of people, and it is what it is, you know. So, okay. See, AI says, what's your opinion on super minimal designs that trending now? It's easy, takes less time, but sells equal. Yeah, so minimalism, I mean, minimalist furniture is kind of in the eye of the beholder, right? So my number one selling piece of furniture is called a Zane Credenza. Just go on theresplendentcro.com. It's super minimal, just like you're saying. The profit margin on these things is damn near 100%. We make a lot of money on them because they're so easy to make. But their simplicity is what makes it timeless, right? So my number one selling piece of furniture has been that Zane Credenza for 5 years in a row. Like, figure that one out. How many furniture makers can say that they've sold one piece of furniture, 50 units a year for 5 years, right? The simplicity, you know, has its place. You know, it's people like that kind of furniture. Again, as long as it's timeless, right? It can't look like it's trendy, right? A lot of companies like to chase the trends. They're always selling the trends, which is why they always have sales, right? They always got sales. They got to move that shit out before it goes out of style. Otherwise, they're gonna be stuck with it. We don't have to do it with our furniture. All of our furniture, most of it, is pretty much timeless. So we don't ever have sales. You'll never see the Resplendent Crow run a sale. It's just not. It's not what we do. It's not how we keep our prices high. It's not how we keep the scarcity of our product the way that it is. It's having high prices, scarcity, all these kind of things. It's part of selling a high-end product, you know. But so the simplicity of design is really important. There's other pieces of furniture though that we sell that is very difficult to build. It's extremely difficult to build, but we sell it every year because people like it, you know, and it's very difficult to build, which is you have no competition. The problem with simplistic furniture is that anybody can do it. If you make it too simple, then any knucklehead with a CNC router can outproduce you, right? And granted, they're not going to have your name, which is where branding comes in, but anybody can make it. So you got to be kind of careful of that. Like, I've got a cabinet right behind me here that's that I'm making for a wedding estate in Washington here. And again, not many people are going to make this thing. Like and it's not that it's super difficult, but it's just difficult enough that you're not going to cut it on a CNC router. Like some of the pieces you can, but you still got to make all the trims. You got to join everything. You got to have someone that's willing to do some detail work, and that's very hard to find today. So simplicity has its place, but also you want to make stuff that's difficult enough that, like I said, any Joe Blow can't make it. So that's kind of important. But then, like I said, branding is a thing. Like I could make a water bottle, and people would buy a Resplendent Curl water bottle because of our brand, right? They like who we are. They like our products. If I made a water bottle that was the color ruby, the Resplendent Curl ruby water bottle, I could probably sell 50 of them, for $200, because it's one-off. It's a unique kind of a thing, and that's the power of branding, guys. And branding is something that I didn't understand a lot until my wife really kind of beat my head over it. But who makes your stuff is more important now than ever, And again, because the barrier to entry to own a business today is so low due to the internet, right? Anybody can do it, and if you do it well enough, you do it long enough. People want to buy from you no matter what you make, And that's, again, when I talk about like, know, and trust. These things are very important, So, AI agent, I hope that answered your question there. That could be a tricky one. But yeah, being able to make things easily can be a trap, right? And this is one of the reasons that a lot of your higher end furniture makers make all their shit in Vietnam. Because the truth is, you could teach anybody to make furniture, but if all they want to do is work from home and get a psychology degree or a degree in medieval history, there's no one to make anything. And if no one fucking makes anything, there is nothing, right? Except what the foreign production makes. And that's what a lot of these companies are doing now. They're making all their shit overseas because you can't fucking get people to do it here. Which again, if you're the only game in town, it's pretty easy to do, but if you got competition, then, it gets a little more difficult. But these, I don't know, it is what it is, so. Okay, next question. Let's see, what's the average turnaround period for a king size bed? So we don't make beds. I am making, funny thing you say that. I literally, out my car, I do have a headboard that I made for my wife. She wanted a headboard that looked a little bit Middle Eastern. She's from India. And we're doing another room in our house that's has a lot of Middle Eastern and Indian themes in it. And anyway, I should go get that headboard and show you guys. But it's basically like the shape. It would be kind of like almost like into a crown. So it looks something kind of like this. And its headboard goes on the back of a day bed. It's like 77 wide and like 42 tall. But again, that's not. We don't do a lot of. I thought about doing beds, but again, you got to think about the competition side, right? Like any swinging dick can make a bed, right? Making headboards is easy. Doing upholstery work, not that hard. But again, CNC router cuts out the bulk of the project, and you're done. A little bit of foam and a little bit of fabric, and you're good to go. I don't want to compete with that, right? Like what I'm doing is I'm selling a product that is better designed than most people's stuff. I'm selling a product that's handmade right here in St. Louis, right? It's not some fucking thing that's built in China or Vietnam or Thailand or any of the other places where people are getting things made. Turkey. It's made right here in St. Louis, and I don't want to be competing with those people. I want to make stuff that they're not going to make. And if they do make it, I'm going to fucking shame them so hard into the fact that their stuff is made overseas and mine's made in America. And we're the king and queen of the internet. We do just as much advertising as anybody, so I can do it. I can shame anybody with their products. We are an American-made company, and that's what we sell. That's what people know us for. And I'll beat anybody over the head about it, because you're not going to sell your shit in make your shit in another country and sell it here as though you're an American company. I won't have it. So I'm not going to make things like other people. I'm going to make my own stuff. If people want to copy my shit, I'm ready to go. So I hope that answers your question there, AI agent. Okay, IVF, I plan on getting away from custom work and start building IVF, god damn it. Fucking tables, man. Fucking tables. All right, I'll show you the table that I just built. And then I'll show you guys. So right now I'm in the process of building a 15-foot by 4-foot crotch mahogany massive fucking dining table. It's going to be covered in brass. It's I think it's like a $42,000 table. It's pretty sick. So this is a foyer table. Here, flip this around, guys. This is a foyer table that I just finished right here. So sorry, I got a bunch of shit in front of me. But anyway, it's just a 2-inch thick top. But if I come in here, and it's not much like that. It's pretty simple, right? So right in here, you can see I've got a channel cut. I don't know if you guys can see it. this right here gets lined with brass. So the entire outside of this gets lined in brass. This will be painted jet black with a clear coat top over it. So you'll be able to do your makeup in it, right? You can brush your teeth in this thing. It'll be so glossy. It'll be like a Steinway piano. But down here, same thing. And this whole thing comes apart. We'll paint it first, and then we'll glue everything together. I've got brass embellishments that are going to go on all the points on this particular piece. But it's cool looking table, but very simple, right? So IBF, if you want to go to the table side, there's a lot of money to be made in tables. Like that table, I think that was $8,200 for that little. No, I take that back. It might have been less than that. Yeah, it might have. It was. I don't want to say it was somewhere around $8,000, but not a ton of work. And again, most table parts you can CNC cut, which is cool. But people tend to associate price with size, right? Which is one of the things that make tables really good. So if you're going to sell an 8-foot table, I mean, you could charge 10, 12, 15 grand for that thing. And most tables you can make in a couple of days, right? I mean, you got a day of milling up the material, gluing it and clamping it, right? You come in the next day, you surface the thing, do your sanding to it, you know. Maybe the next day you're putting shit together, make sure it all fits, do your finish process, put it back together, and then ship it out. I mean, it's a fantastic way to make money. But like I was saying earlier, dude, every swinging dick with a garage, I mean, even a garage at this point can make tables, you know, and while you might make the best table in the world, no one's going to tell. No one's going to know that you make the best table. Not when there's so many other people making tables. The reason, like I was talking about that Cam guy on Blacktail Studio, the reason that guy is successful as an epoxy table maker is because he's kind of the first. I mean, he's kind of one of the guys that popularized that thing. So he's the brand associated with that kind of a table, at least as far as I know. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's why he's successful. That's why he can sell one of those tables for 15 grand. But the guy, you know, down the street who makes these in his garage, sells them on Facebook Marketplace, he can't get $3,000 for it. You know, he doesn't have the name. He doesn't have he's not associated with the product the way that other people want to be associated with that product, even when they make the same thing. I hope that makes sense, dude. It's tricky. So you can become the table maker in like your area and make a fucking shit ton of money, man. Like it's very lucrative if you're, like I say, if you got the name, if you got the client list, I think it's a super lucrative way to make money. But again, you're competing with a lot of other people, you know? So when you do something like I do, which is high gloss lacquered furniture, my wife was one of the first people that really popularized that. So again, the Resplendent Crow, our company, is known for having a really nice finish. But there's people that do it better than I do. Yeah, they really are, but they don't have our name, so they're never going to outsell me. So it's tricky, man. Like it's jumping from product to product to product is if you can pull it off, man, more power to you. But you know, proceed with caution is how I'd put it. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube named Zach Vaught, and he's always talking about tables and making money and furniture, and like you never hear him talk about his furniture, right? You never hear him. He never shows you his furniture. He never gives you like updates on what it is that he's making. He's like completely dissociated himself with his product, right? He's just trying to sell you his book on how to be a furniture maker and how to sell and make tables. Like it's very weird the way that he's doing it. Whereas what we do is we have the product and we have the conversations. It's all linked to us. Like I'm the face of the Resplendent Crow. My wife is the face of the Resplendent Crow. And all we do is show what we're doing. We show how to do it. We show where we do it, who does it, to work on the like, know, and trust thing. And this guy does something very different, you know. And there's another guy that I see I get all this shit on Instagram. I forget what he's doing tables too. It's something I don't remember. But it's like everyone's trying to sell you plans on how to start making tables because so many people are doing it, because it's really easy to get started. Very difficult to create a brand, you know. So IBF, don't want to discourage you, but just proceed with caution. And if you got the marketing side figured out, man, you'll do great. Okay. But yeah, what you're saying about custom work's super hard, man. Like I've said it many times. When I was looking for a new job when I lived in Wichita, Kansas, and I wanted to get out of jets, and I wanted to get back to making custom furniture. And there was a company looking for furniture makers. I mean, more cabinet makers, I should say. And I called them up and I was saying like, hey man, like I know what you're looking for. It's like, but I really want to just make custom furniture. Like all I want to do is make the hardest shit you got. That's what I want to do. Like anything that's complex, curved, you know, geometric shapes, whatever. Like I want to do, that's the shit that I want. And he says to me, man, That's a tough way to make a living. And I did end up taking the job, and I remember getting on the phone with that guy thinking, man, fuck that guy, what a pussy. Like, how do you not want to make custom furniture? Like, that's what the best furniture makers do. They all make the custom shit, blah, 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 blah. And, fast forward 10, 15 years, and he was 100% right. Like, making furniture, or making custom furniture is awesome. Like, it feels great, it looks great, customers like it, but there's no money in it, or very little money. You can make money, but very difficult to do, so you're just in a tough business, man. Welcome to the club. Like, we furniture makers and cabinet makers, like, it's a tough business, unless you're some cookie cutter company cutting out kitchens and vanities all day long and a CNC router, you got a shit ton of assemblers and installers. It's very hard to make money. But super rewarding. So, okay, see, an AI agent says, branding is super tricky, and it's something that I just never understood until my wife, like I said, beat it over my head with fashion. And I didn't know anything about fashion. My wife would start talking to me about all these brands and clothing, and I knew nothing about this kind of stuff. And then I started kind of researching what all these brands are and how they got started and why do their purses sell for $5,000 when you can go down to Walmart and buy one that looks just like it for $50. And the truth is it's in the name, right? It's in the pedigree. It's in where the thing is made, how it's made, the celebrities that wear their shit, right? The fashion shows, the history, like all these things create a brand and allow you to charge an insane amount of money. But it's so easy to tarnish that brand. It's so easy to lose what makes that brand great if you let certain kinds of things get into your business. And it happens all the time. But the ones that are good at it, it's like there was I don't know if you guys remember this, but here maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, there was a lot of these memes and stories going around on X about how like the brands Dior and Chanel and I don't remember, like Louis Vuitton, maybe Gucci. I forget exactly which brands they were, but all their shit was basically made in China, right? And they were showing how their stuff was being made in China, all this kind of stuff. And I saw that stuff and I thought, man, that is crazy. If that's true, right? Because again, what I know about branding and what I know about how business works, like no company would risk their name when they're selling a product that's supposedly made in France to make some extra money by having it made in China. Because the minute your customer knows that their product could have potentially been made in China, brought back to France, and then labeled as made in France, they would abandon your brand as quickly as they found it. And that's how branding works. That's the thing about brand, especially companies that live on branding like Chanel, like Rolex, like Lamborghini, Ferrari, all these kind of brands. Like the minute Ferrari tries to go for manufacturing cars in, was it Maranello or Mod? I forget where the hell these guys make all their cars. But if they tried to make something in China, a cheaper, more affordable Ferrari, their brand would be fucked. They would go out of business they'd be out of business inside of a couple of years because people would just lose all faith in that company. The thing that makes that company special, which is the scarcity, right? It's the lack of access to that product that gives it its value, because a new Ferrari is $600,000, they would just lose all that cachet that they've built up over decades and that company would fall apart. So yeah, this idea that people would make things in China just to save some money, it never made any sense to me, and I don't know if it was ever found to be true or not. I have no idea. But anyway, sorry, another long answer. Shocker, huh? Okay, how long were you in Jets? I was in Jets for about 20 years. So I started in 2001, and I ended in 2018, maybe? So what would that be? Is that actually 17 years? Yeah, so 17 years, somewhere in there. And I started off working on Cessnas. And Raytheons. It was called Raytheon at the time. Raytheon later got sold. They sold that company to Onyx, and it got renamed Hawker Beechcraft. So I started out on Raytheon, and I started out on Cessnas, like CJ2s and CJ3s, and then just kind of worked my way up into different companies. And again, I've worked on everything. Bombardier's, their Challengers. I've worked on, Ember Airs. That was a real popular one for a while. I did a lot of Ember Airs, Phenoms. Just fucking anything, man. Boeing business jets, Dassaults, lots of Gulfstream. So I worked at Gulfstream for a long time. and did it for a long time, and I learned a lot of great skills. The thing about furniture making is a lot of furniture makers would benefit from going over to the nautical industry or the aerospace industry, because you learn a lot of skills that aren't used in the furniture industry, and specifically skills that require technology. There's a ton of technology in aerospace that isn't in the furniture industry, and eventually they all kind of cross and things like that. But you learn a lot about working with Kevlar, a lot about working with fiberglass, Nomex. What are some of the other products we learned with? Did a lot of carbon fiber. I mean, fuck, man, you wanna know how to make carbon fiber? Like, that's easy. Make carbon fiber is basically like making fiberglass. Very similar process, you know. But you learn how to do a lot of bending, because the fuselage on an aircraft obviously is you know, say a circle. You know, it's more like an egg, but it's kind of like a circular shape. And so every piece of furniture you make has to fit in that kind of an environment. So you learn a lot about working with curves and arcs and complex geometry, and it's great for helping you to make things on the spot, right? To be able to do a lot of auto calculating. One of the things that I really struggled with going back to the furniture industry was none of y'all motherfuckers use decimals. Like, you don't know about centimeters and millimeters. Like, everyone works in fractions, and if I ever hear another person fucking tell me to use fractions, I'm gonna kill them. Like, I'm gonna just reach through my phone and just strangle them to death. Like, nobody uses fractions. That was kind of a hard thing to get used to again. Was using fractions, because I default to decimals on everything, because I also do engineering, right? Like, I did a lot of engineering in aerospace, designing wire assemblies and different kinds of electronic parts and things like that. But anyway, so sorry guys. Long as me. I was in jets for a long time. I love jets. The amount of pride that I took every day when I put on a Gulfstream uniform. I'm not a uniform person at all. But there was something about putting on a Gulfstream uniform and walking around the town of Savannah, Georgia. Like, I wouldn't say you were like royalty, you know, but you were kind of like, you were like a made man, you know, when you walked around that Gulfstream uniform, because that was the company that kept that town going. And all those jobs, super high paying jobs. And so people always knew you could, you know, you had great credit, you could, you know, you had access to anything you wanted to buy, you could get financing for it if you needed it. You were going to go out to eat in restaurants, you were going to spend money. It was pretty cool, you know. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, okay, let's see. I guess it says, table's super easy. It's hard to grow with custom work. I can't find help. Yeah, no, in IBF, dude, I'm in the same boat, right? And I did a talk this morning. You know, I don't know if anyone's going to go back and see. Doing a video, so doing streams on your computer versus doing streams on your phone, very different engagement, right? Very different. YouTube kicks around the phone stuff a lot more than the computer-based stuff, you know? So go back and listen to it, man. It was a good one. But I'm in the same boat, man. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, people don't, I don't think it's people don't want to learn, but they don't have patience anymore. I think the phone has fucked everybody up. Like, the attention span, like, we used to go watch, like, I remember when the movie Titanic came out, I went and saw that movie twice. It was like 3 fucking hours long. I love that movie. But now everybody wants everything in like a 15-second soundbite. You know, they want a clip that they can kick around on TikTok that's, you know, no longer than 7 seconds. And I think that's infected our culture. Like, people just don't, the idea of taking 40 hours to build a credenza, like, people can't even wrap their heads around that. Like, all they want to do is just very simple, you know, task started, task done, task started, task done. Give me on the next, and it's very difficult to find help when you have something that takes a long time to do. You know, like making furniture, like you're in custom work. Like, that's even more difficult, because then you got to be figuring out, you know, 2 or 3 steps ahead so you don't make a ton of mistakes. You know, you're doing calculations for things you're going to be doing. You know, you got to be auto-calculating all your drawers and your door openings before you ever build your cabinet, you know, or while you're building your cabinet, you're trying to figure out, well, what am I going to need here? What am I going to need there? What's the dimension of this? I mean, you're just figuring all this stuff out as you go. And it's just a slower process. And yeah, when you gotta rely on somebody else, you know, to do that work, shit, man, that is tough. So yeah, I get it, man. Table's a lot easier. Again, you can CAD that stuff up, you know, like that. And I think a lot of the CAD now is you don't have to create it yourself. They've got programs that'll do it all for you, which is cool. But yeah, man, I don't blame you one bit. If you can, whatever you gotta do to make that money, man. Like, if you can start doing tables, you know, and again, like a lot of people use a CNC router to surface all their stuff, which is cool. Or some people use these big double drum sanders and wide belt drum sanders, stuff like that. Super expensive tools, but man, they make the job really easy. I still use, you guys kind of laugh at this. I don't have it out here at the moment, but I still use a 3 horsepower Porta-Cable router. I've got I think it's like a 2.5-inch surfacing bit, and I've got some really long, like 10-foot long straight edge that I just stick on the ground. I've got a long board, right, and a shuttle that I put this router on. I just run this shuttle back and forth as I move this thing down these boards. It's as archaic as it gets, but it works. And I don't have a CNC router, and I don't want to take these tables on to, my buddy down the road. I don't want to load that shit up and drive it down there, So that's what I do. I'll just bust that thing out, and it takes me a good hour and a half to surface all these things, but it works, So, but yeah, if you got the right tools, man, like that job goes super quick, it's super easy. And like I said, good luck, man. Market the shit out of yourself and be that guy. Be the guy that makes the tables in your area and brand yourself as that. And again, make sure that people know who you are. Like they know that this table came from IBF, whatever manufacturing. And yeah, takes a while, but if you can do it, it's worth it, man. It's just it takes a lot of work. Okay, let's see. And I have to go back to your thing. One more thing. It's like I talked earlier this morning, and I've said it already in this cast, but like I really thought that my kids would take on a lot of this work. Like that was really the thought that I had, was that like, my son, he'll take up woodworking and want to do woodworking. Our daughters, they'll want to sell furniture. They're bubbly, fun kids and smart and whatever. Like, again, when you have a company that's based on like, know, and trust, right? People like us, they know us, and they trust us because we've been in business for a long time. It would be super easy, and like, what a fucking transfer, right? Like, oh, Suchetta's not selling furniture anymore, but her daughter is. Like, oh, who's that? Like every woman in the fucking world wants to know that the people that are buying furniture from them now, their kids are doing it. Like it's a match made in heaven, but these kids want nothing to do with it. Because I don't value the degrees that they all have, like I always joke with them, like I won't, I'll tell them that, you're also, I'll look beyond the fact that you have a master's degree, and I'll give you a job. That's how I look at it. Like, because you have a master's degree, I wouldn't give most people a job. I wouldn't give them the fucking time of day if they had a master's degree. But because my daughter does, I'm happy to overlook it and give her a job anyway. But yeah, it's just, god dang, it's finding people to do this work is so hard. It's just, it's rough. Okay, that iAgent says, so what's your secret sauce to keeping some form of unique signature stuff on your furniture so that the guy next door can't copy the shit? Okay, well, so I'm going to get really, really egotistical, like super ego, and this is, I'm going to let the hubris out, as I say. They can't do what I do. That's what, like, good. Go punch up, go buy my furniture and go copy every detail. Like, the thing is, people can make my trims. My trims aren't difficult. Making my tops aren't difficult. Making my legs aren't difficult. Making my end panels, my framing panels, my doors, like, none of my shit's difficult. What makes my stuff almost uncopyable is that I make it old school. That's really all it boils down to. Nobody wants to do the work. So I don't worry about people copying my furniture, because again, that piece of Kindle furniture I just showed you guys, like Kindle's probably the top 5 highest quality furniture you can buy in America. Like they've been in business for 125 years. They're an amazing company. I make my furniture exactly like they do, down to almost every detail. There's some things I skimp on from time to time, but when I design my furniture, when I build my furniture, it's with a company like that in mind. So every piece of furniture I make, full framing panels. Guess what? You can't cut on a fucking CNC router, okay? There's almost no particle board on my cabinets, right? There's almost no MDF on my cabinet. It's all real wood. It's all plywoods, hardwoods. Like, that's the secret sauce, man. The secret sauce is doing the work, because the truth is that, IBF can speak to this. Like, most people just don't want to do the fucking work, man. It's not what I do is special. It's just that I like knowing that it takes 60 hours to build this credenza, right? I like the more time it takes, the more money I can charge for it, it's a win-win, you know? But what most people want to do is they want to cut the hours as much as they possibly can, charge as much as they possibly can, and then they feel like when they sell that product that they won, right? Like I sold this person the cheapest piece of shit that I possibly could for the most amount of money. And then what happens is that motherfuckers never come back to them because someone's going to figure out that the other got fucked, right? And that's what usually happens. That's why a lot of people they don't buy their furniture from the same people 12 times over like they do from me. Like I've got customers that have 16 of their pieces. I've got a woman here in St. Louis. You know, she's, again, one of my super customers. She's been with us from almost day one, and I love her to death. You know, her name's Kim, and she has bought so much of my furniture for me over the years. Like, I'll just give her shit at this point. She's bought so much stuff for me. But if that woman had thought that I had screwed her over by giving her a bullshit product for a super high price, she would have never bought from me again, you know? So that's my secret sauce, dude. It's not that what I make is better than anybody else. It's that I put in the work. I put in the time, and I give people what they paid for. And a lot of times I give them more than they paid for because what I do is so unique. Like, we also do metal work here, right? So a lot of people know I do a lot of brass work, right? I got a whole tube of fucking 1/4-inch brass over there that I've got to build trim for this credenza that's behind me. It's going to get brass on every single door, you know. And what most people do is they paint that shit, right? Or they'll buy it plated, right? Another way to do it, you'll buy plated stuff, you know. Like, no, I use the real deal. Like, if I'm gonna charge you $10,000 for credenza, I'm gonna give you some real fucking brass. Like, I'm not gonna give you some bullshit. And that's the secret sauce, man. Like, there's no cutting corners, right? You have to be a little bit egotistical about it. Like, when I sell furniture to people, when I talk about my furniture, I mean, I tell anybody, like, you can't do what I do. Like, you can't. It takes too much time. You don't want to work that fucking hard. And I'm weird like that. Like, I love working. That's why I'm here on Sunday, right? I love working. I love delivering these products. And that's the secret sauce, man. Like, you just got to want it badder than everybody else. Like, no one's going to copy my shit, man. I'm not worried about it one bit. I did have a company called, who are those cocksuckers? I use that word intentionally because fuck these people. Poppies of Macon. That's what they're called. Poppies of Macon. They've copied my credenza, and they've copied my vanity. And I know that they sell them. I know that they make sales on them. But every opportunity I get, I call those people out. And I just talk about what fucking pieces of shit they are. And again, you want to copy my furniture? I don't mind. Copy my furniture. But I'm going to call you what you are, which is fucking dirty cocksuckers, you know, and you know, husband and wife team out there, you know, and they can all drown in the fucking Atlantic Ocean for all I care. Stop copying my shit. Make your own furniture, right? Make your own stuff. Remember, my stuff's garbage, right? You know, no one wants to copy my stuff, but when they do, this is what it is, you know? So, you know, I don't worry about it. I've made so much furniture over the years. Like I said, most people just don't want to do the work, you know? And if these people want to make my stuff, they want to make it over in Vietnam or wherever the hell they're getting it made, great, but I'll call about any opportunity I get, you know? So I don't worry about it, dude. It's just make furniture that's better than everybody else, you know? Stop trying to get it cut on a CNC router. Stop trying to get it made overseas. Just make it here in America. Use the best construction methods and the best materials that are available and charge a fair price for it. That's all you got to do, you know? Most people don't want to do that. And you're kind of insulated at that point. So, okay, see, next question. If you get more funds to upscale your business at some point, will you pick the branding and premium stuff or mass market road? Let's see, I'm gonna read your question one more time. If you get more funds to upscale your business at some point, will you pick the branding and premium stuff or the mass? So, no, we'll always go premium product. I've looked at having my furniture made in Mexico, India, for mass market kind of a situation, and ultimately just didn't go. It just doesn't sit right, man. I would upscale my product. So here's exactly what I would do. We've talked about doing it numerous times. So I've talked about taking about maybe 80 grand and making an entirely new line of furniture of course, I would take some of my old stuff that I sell, my faux bamboo stuff, and just go into High Point Market, which is a place where it's a big furniture industry trade show, and just having a booth there. You know, having a nice booth, you know, then they can be expensive, like 30, 40 grand. But taking that week where you get, you know, I want to say something like 250,000 people come through there in a week. I mean, it's a pretty a large amount, and they're all qualified, right? These are all interior designers and buyers. And I've thought about going there just for the exposure, right? That would be a great way to market our company a little bit more, get a few more eyeballs on our stuff because, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Because no matter how big you think you are, you're still small. Like there are so many companies and there's so many products and there's so many eyeballs and there's so many people being hit with shit that looks like yours, different kinds of products. It's very hard for you to stand out, you know? So I've been doing this for 8 or 9 years at this point, and I think we're a big company. We have a great name, and everyone knows who we are, and I still find people every day have no fucking idea who we are. It just blows my mind. They're like, oh, you guys make furniture? Like, what do you think we did? You know, like, oh, I just thought you were the Pretty Color company, and you did paint, and like, geez Louise, you know? So, yeah, that's what I would do. I would never mass market. I'm not interested. I think if I got a bunch of money and it was a choice between mass marketing, I would probably just retire. Like, I just can't do it. You know, I took a big leap of faith when my wife wanted me to, she just wanted me to make products that would sell multiple times. Because all I wanted to do was make custom work. I wanted to make the Resolute desk. That's what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to make really difficult furniture, you know, carving, complex shapes, you know, really difficult materials, that kind of work. I just want to gravitate towards. My wife said, no, let's focus on making some of the stuff that's going to sell a lot. Well, now I sell, like I said, 30, 40, 50 units every year of half a dozen pieces, and that's basically what keeps me in business. So then I can do all the difficult projects and make new furniture and fuck around with whatever I want because of that kind of furniture, you know. So that's as far as mass market as I think I'm willing to get at this point, because I don't see a lot of joy in being like a Restoration Hardware, you know, where you're selling thousands of one unit. You know, I just can't. I don't want to be. There's a book called Boss Life, wrote by Paul Downs. I talk about it a lot. It's a fucking awesome book about a furniture maker who became a business owner. He talks about how difficult it is to go from being a fabricator to being a business owner. The truth is that I don't want to be a business owner. I want to be a fabricator. And the problem is that I have to do both, you know, and if given a choice, I would be the fabricator, right? So if someone said, Eric, you can go be the owner of a company, be the boss, or you can go be the fabricator. You're like, I'm probably going to go be the fabricator because at the end of the day, like, yeah, money is great. I love money, but I don't need a lot of things in life. Like I'd like to have another supercar, you know, that'd be nice. And then I could probably do a little tiny 1-bedroom, fucking 1-bath house with a big ass garage. And I'm good. I don't need much more, you know, which I can get on my aerospace salary. Like I don't need to run a business. So yeah, I don't know. We would just focus on making our brand even more valuable. You know, I would probably consider hiring a celebrity. You know, do a celebrity type endorsement. Maybe do a couple celebrity endorsements, something like that. There's these things called micro influencers, which are becoming much more of an advertising tool than the kind of the normal advertisement. Normally, you would put an ad on Meta, right? You put it on Facebook, Instagram. You do ads on Pinterest. You do a lot of Google advertising. Everyone knows about Google advertising. But what people don't talk about a lot of is that some of the best advertising you can do is actually go find people that are great in your space. Like take that Bourbon Moth guy, right? If you guys notice that Bourbon Moth guy, he's I think I saw him with a Ford, right? Like that guy's got a Ford endorsement, you know, and you're thinking, what the fuck? What? This one guy who's got a following on YouTube, you know, probably some Patreon, things like that. He's got a Ford endorsement, right? Because that's where business is going, right? That's where these large companies are starting to put their advertising dollars. So if you can create a brand and you can get really good at something, get a following of people that really like you, are really dedicated to your content, those people are going to come in and want to advertise with you, right? And I'm not the person that people want to advertise with. I would pay the people that are those people, like a Bourbon Moth, or not that that's my customer base, but I would pay him, I think, to talk about my furniture, right? You know, and in my case, it would be a celebrity. It would be like, it would be someone like everyone knows who Ashley Stark is. Like I would pay Ashley Stark to use my furniture. I would pay. I'm just trying to think of some of the people in this space. Like my wife knows all these people. I'm not. This just isn't what I do. Like I would pay again. Someone that likes furniture. Like I put ads in Architectural Digest, maybe stuff like that. I'm just trying to think. I don't have any good examples for you guys. Because again, I'm not the marketing person, you know, but that's probably what I would do, you know, and that again helps you to build up your brand, you know. So I hope that's helpful, guys. I know that's kind of a long, winding kind of an answer. So anyway, holy shit, guys, we're at 83 minutes. Well, I planned on talking about something today, and I got carried away with my people here, which is cool. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And again, if you guys are in here, hit the like button, add to the stream. I'll do a few more minutes. I did want to talk about if you can fix things up, then you can buy anything you want, right? Especially today. I hear a lot of people just bitching about the prices of everything, and no one can afford anything. No one's buying houses because the interest rates are too high. No one's buying cars because the interest rates are too high. And I put some pictures on my stream of my 2 cars that I got out in the driveway today, the parking lot today. And it's this old Audi, right? 2011. You know, I fucking love Audis, guys. Like, I've always loved Audis. They're just, I think they're the sexiest cars ever made. Like the Audi R8, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just, what a beautiful car. The Audi TT, the RS model, the S model is just, it's gorgeous. I've just always liked the S cars, the RS cars. They're all just beautiful cars. You know, S4, like, holy shit, like a 2008 S4. Really cool looking car, you know, 2008, the S5, beautiful, you know, manual transmission, V8s. I just love these cars. And the truth is that you don't have to buy a new car if you're not afraid to work on the old car, right? The other car that I showed was this Volkswagen Turg, the most unreliable vehicle that there is. I mean, it's a fucking meme practically on the internet, how just unreliable these cars are. And I bought the car, I redid the front end, you know, right at the front end was fine, but I did the timing belt, all the pulleys, water pumps, radiator, just fucking everything that was basically front end service on this car. I swapped out the carrier bearing, you know, in between the drive shafts, changed out every fluid, transmission fluids, differential fluids, oils, you know, brake fluid, just all the fluids. And I've driven, I think, 30,000 miles so far. It's a 2005, 0 problems. I swapped out the valve cover gaskets also, no problems, 0. None. You know, I am starting to get a warning light for something to do with the suspension, but I think it's what's called the stepper motor, which activates the transfer case. Transfer case got a low range and a high range, and if that stepper motor isn't working correctly or doesn't test correctly when you first pull the car, and it'll turn the car on, it'll put a code out there, right? So I think that's going bad. So as long as I don't have to use low range, I guess I'm fine. But anyway, point is that life doesn't have to be expensive if you're not afraid to work on things, you know? And I've talked about, you know, I've shown you guys my home. I've talked about where I live. Like, I should have never been able to afford that house. Like, it's a $2 million home. I bought it for $550,000 because nobody wanted to work on it. It's a custom home built by a local auto shop called Miller's Automotive. They got a couple locations here in St. Louis. A beautiful home. It's the most beautiful home in the area. And again, I don't make that kind of money, you know, but nobody wanted to redo the inside of the house. The deck was falling apart. The deck, it's a 3-story deck overlooking panoramic view of the Mississippi River. It's fucking beautiful, guys. Nobody wanted to do it. I spent 2 summers replacing that deck. I just finished it. I've still got some little things to do, but point is it's 98% of the way done. I'm getting ready to stain it. I'm going to finally be done with it, you know, but what would that have been, 70, 80 grand to redo that thing? Like, people just did not want to spend the money. It's on a cliff, right, with tons of retaining walls and concrete work. Nobody wants to mess with that, you know. I don't mind. Like, I love working on that shit, you know. We're using this massive home that overlooks the river to put all of our resplendent products in it. Like, we're redoing rooms, we're putting our furniture in there, showing off our beautiful, luxurious spaces, and people are coming into our home wanting to buy our furniture. They're asking questions about the stuff they see on Instagram and Facebook, and this is how it works, guys. Like, it's not super complicated. But again, if you're willing to work on things, you're willing to put in that work and learn how to do drywall, learn how to do, you know, masonry work, learn how to, you know, put on a deck, you know, just whatever, you know, replace windows, doors. Like, the front door of this house, got 2 massive walnut front doors, mahogany front doors. There's massive, like, I want to say they're like 9 feet tall maybe, and then, yeah, it's like double doors. They're arched. My wife fucking hated those things. You know, she's like, I want glass. So we took the center panels out. You know, one day we did a project out of it. Took the center panels out. We ordered some tempered glass, and we put beautiful tempered glass doors on there, and it's fucking beautiful. My wife loves it, you know. But now the home it's been dressed up. I'm getting ready to do the kitchen, you guys. You go on the Resplendent Crow on Instagram, you'll see all the kitchen content. It's getting ready to come down. We're doing a brass kitchen, guys. Like, it's fucking wild. Like, I'm doing old style beaded drawers, except the bead's not going to be wood. The bead is going to be brass, you know. So we're doing all this stuff, and it's because we're just willing to do the work. You know, we're willing to figure out how to do sheetrock. We're willing to, you know, if there's foundation issues, you know, learning how to jack up a foundation, not that big of a deal. Kind of dirty though, you know. masonry saws make a lot of dust, you know, but if you can do this work, guys, you don't have to buy the new shit. You don't have to rely on other people to do everything for you, and you can afford so much more. You know, like my cars are paid for. You know, I don't have a car payment, you know, but, you know, you do got to have two cars when you have two pieces of shit cars, right? Because you never know if one of them is going to go out. But like I said, that Touareg, the most unreliable car in it ever, maybe. Never had any problems with it, you know, and just doing the maintenance. Like, is it really that simple? Like, I'm starting to wonder, is life really just about doing the maintenance on everything, and people just literally don't do the maintenance? Like, I don't know. Like, the transmission on my Audi acted goofy, right? It was going goofy on me one day. And I pulled the codes on that, and it'd be on a mechatronic unit. It's basically like the brain of the transmission. And took 10 weeks to get the part from Germany, right? So my car stuck at Audi for 10 fucking weeks. And I couldn't code the thing. Like I could have swapped out it's basically a valve body. I could have done that work, but I can't code it. Like Audi's the only people that have the software for that as far as I know. So I had to pay them to do that. That was $4,000. Like that's a lot of freaking money. I could have done that for $1,200 if I didn't have to code it. Like that's what I paid for the part, $1,200. But the suspension, it's got that MagRide suspension, fucking horrible suspension, and it's always going out. It's problematic, but again, swap it all out. The new suspension, $2,400. You pay Audi, it's $10,000. You know, so if you can do this stuff yourself, you can save a shit ton of money. And guess what? The cars from the 2010s and the early 2000s, the best looking cars there are. They're fucking gorgeous. And people really cared about the design. That's why Jaguars are so beautiful from the 2000s and the 2010s, you know. Now they're making shit. Everyone's making shit. It all looks the same. So not only can you drive a beautiful car, it doesn't have a shit ton of electronics that, you know, fuck up things all the time, right? They just work. You know, do the maintenance, maybe swap out the shocks yourself, do the brakes, you know, just basic stuff, you know, swap out the fucking, the air filters, change the oil, like this stuff. It's worth its weight in gold if you're not afraid to do it. You can buy cheaper houses. Look for the houses that are messed up. Look for the houses that have green and pink carpet. You know, look for the houses that got old fucking wood windows. You know, like look for those houses because you can buy them up dirt cheap. Because the first thing that people do when they look to buy a house is they immediately go to a general contractor and then what's it going to cost to replace all the windows in this house? General contractor comes back and says, it'll be $50,000, right? Then you go price out the windows yourself, find out they cost $8,000. You're good. Because trust me, when you go to buy that house, you're going to be talking about saving $50,000, not the $8,000 you're actually going to spend. You know, so again, knowing how to work on stuff, being willing to fix stuff, getting dirty, learning about tools, you know, working outside when it's hot, working outside when it's cold. Doing this stuff can just save you a shit ton of money. You don't have to operate in this world today where you have to pay top dollar for everything because you can't do anything. You know, you can do everything. So you can buy the old stuff. And guess what? The old stuff's built better than the new stuff. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Cars today are not as reliable as cars from the 2000s. I don't care what anybody says. Like I've owned BMWs most of my life. Most of my BMWs have been from the 90s. They've all been super reliable. Like I've never had, other than like some electrical gremlins, like I've never had any problems with any BMW I've ever owned. And I've never paid a reasonable amount of money for a BMW because everyone sells them for dirt cheap because nobody wants to work on them. You know, I bought a Z3, 98 Z3, I think. I think I paid $4,000 for it, you know, put new shocks on it, drove that thing around for years. $4,000, a lot of fun. You know, I bought an old BMW 318s. You know, I just love BMWs. They're beautiful cars. I would rather buy a beautiful piece of shit than the most maintenance-free, safe, reliable, fucking generic-looking Toyota or Honda. Like, you couldn't pay me to buy a Toyota or a Honda. Like, they're just the most plain. It'd be like, I mean, think about it, the furniture I sell, guys. The furniture I sell the Audi and the Lamborghini and the Ferrari and the Bentley of furniture. When people see my shit, they see it in the big ruby colors, the bright yellows, the bright greens, the Skittles of furniture, right? They tell you if you're going to buy a supercar, never buy a supercar unless it's in a Skittles color. Because there's no point in buying. You're buying a fucking supercar to be seen. You're not buying a supercar, you know, to stay under the radar. If you are, you're lying, right? You buy my furniture because you want people to see it, right? I'm the same way. When I buy a car, I want to buy something nice. I want to buy something that's beautiful. I want to buy something that isn't on the road and that not everybody has for whatever reason. And that's why I do it. You know? So you got to fix things, guys. You got to learn how to do this shit. And life's a lot cheaper when you're not afraid to get dirty. You know, you're not afraid to bust your knuckles and you know, get some fluids on you, whatever. So anyway, guys, I think this will be my talk. For the day. And yeah, Agent, I love cars. I'm a huge car guy. Probably gonna buy. I'm gonna buy a McLaren or an Audi R8. Probably in April. So I think that's kind of my goal. April, May, somewhere in there. I sold my Lotus. What month are we even in? Is this August? No, we're in September, right? So I sold my Lotus 1 year ago. I had a beautiful Lotus Evora. Sold it because sales were like in the fucking tank, and we needed money for labor. Because I remember I was telling you guys earlier about keeping your employees. I'm like, you got to pay your people. Like no matter what you do, you got to pay your people. And this is the thing that business owners don't talk about, right? When people talk shit about business owners, they never tell the stories of the business owners selling off the things that they really enjoy and the things they really like to keep their people paid, right? They don't talk about the loans that you take on your property so that you can keep your people paid, keep the lights on, so they can pay their fucking bills and pay their family, make sure their kids got stuff to eat. Like, people don't talk about that kind of stuff, So I've sold my stuff. I've done the work. I'm ready for my next supercar. And yeah, I live on a scenic highway where everybody drives their cars to and from. People ride along the Mississippi River. It's fucking beautiful, guys. And that's one of the reasons I live there. So that's my present to myself next year. So, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll do this again tomorrow. So thanks for hanging out.